The LA Clippers are back in action on Tuesday night against the Golden State Warriors, the shorthanded Golden State Warriors, and it was a special night because Mason Plumlee, Eric Gordon, and Bones Highland were wearing Clipper uniforms and on the basketball court, and the Clippers beat the Golden State Warriors. What were the keys to the win, and how did the new guys look? Going to be talking about that on today's Locked On New Look Clippers.
You are Locked On Clippers, your daily Los Angeles Clippers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, sir. You are locking in with the Clips. Thank you for making Locked On Clippers the first listen of your day, your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. I'm going to be telling you about my fantasy entries for Prize Picks, or should I say on Prize Picks, for Wednesday later in the episode. I am your host, Darian Vaziri, in my 18th season as a Clipper fan. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod, or follow me. Or should I say, and subscribe to my own YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, where a vlog of this game will be up. I was right by the tunnel again. It was awesome. Got some great stuff. Got to holler at a couple of the players when I could. And just up close, had a great view of the game. So I am excited to talk about this one. And in this one, going to be talking about why the Clippers won the game. And that's mainly because Kawhi Leonard led the way. And Paul George was great as well. And the supporting cast was very good, including the new additions who we'll be talking about at length. And then I also want to end it with something I've, again, just noticed about Ty Lue, but it's just doubling down or just being reconfirmed to me with each passing game. And also going to say how I feel about the Russ thing after one game of seeing the new look Clippers. Let's get right into it, though. The Clippers against the Warriors. No Steph Curry. No Andrew Wiggins. Clippers have had multiple days of rest. The Warriors were on a back-to-back. No doubt in my mind, I mentioned on the last episode that this wasn't going to be a must-win situation. This was a must-win game. I know it's game number 60, but it doesn't matter. The West is going to be extremely competitive from here on out. And with Phoenix strengthening, Dallas strengthening, we need to take advantage of all these W's we can get. And how many teams have taken advantage of our stars not playing? So when it's the other way around, we got to take care of business. And it's an important opportunity to build good process. Because on Thursday, the Clippers are going to be playing the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix, and that will not be an easy game. And it's going to be a big game with both of them neck and neck in the standings. But let's talk about what went so well for the Clippers. And in this game, every single quarter was good, except for the second, where the Clippers allowed 42 points. But in the beginning of the game, and I've been talking about starts a lot this season, we have not been good starting games a lot this season. And, you know, one of my friends said something at halftime that was true, is that there's one quarter these Clippers have every game. It's been the second quarter more often than not this season. They just bomb. At least one quarter, they just seem to bomb. And in this one, it was the second quarter, and it's because they could not get stops and could not defend without fouling. But the reason why the Clippers were so good was Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You need your stars to be stars. This supporting cast stuff, the fine-tuning of the roster, yeah, that's all good. Ty Lue needs to be good with his rotations, all that. But it really starts from the top. I always say that. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. Kawhi Leonard did not even have super, super easy matchups. Draymond Green was guarding him to start. And he saw Jonathan Kuminga for a bit. He saw some decent defenders. But when Kawhi Leonard's on, there's not a defender in the world that can stop that guy, in my opinion. He was hitting the three ball tonight. He had I think this was his best three-point shooting game of the season. 7 for 9 from deep for Kawhi. A lot of them were open, but a couple of them were semi-contested. There were a couple, at least one I can remember in the second half, where he just came up the court with a little bit of momentum, and Kevon Looney backed up, and he just stepped right into it. It was beautiful, totally in rhythm. And Kawhi, you really have seen his three ball start returning back to the three ball we knew he had before the ACL tear. I mean, 7 for 9 is just wow. There was one shot he made in the first quarter right in front of me where Draymond Green was draped all over him. He hit him with a pump fake. Draymond didn't even bite, and he hit just a fall away Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan-like shot with Draymond Green draped all over him from the right elbow. And what do they say? Great offense beats great defense. And that was one of those moments right there. Kawhi Leonard was just spectacular. I thought Paul George was doing a good job of being aggressive in the pick and roll. You know, Kevon Looney and Jordan Poole weren't switching for a lot of the actions for the Warriors. Kevon Looney in drop coverage, and Jordan Poole was showing and recovering. And we were attacking Jordan Poole in the pick and roll relentlessly on defense in this game. And I think that's part of the reason why we had so much success. We put their weakest defender in the pick and roll, and it allowed for a lot of short roll situations for guys like Terrence Mann. And Terrence, when he gets downhill, he's really good at making those reads. There was one time where he had a lob to Ivica Zubac, and just he's a good finisher around the basket. He's athletic, so you have to account for him when he steps up. When he's running to you. You have to step up as the defense. But Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, I thought Paul was really aggressive in the beginning, getting, in terms of handling the ball and pick and roll, coming off those screens and looking to score and looking to get downhill. I think the main takeaway from this game is that the Clippers were much more aggressive in terms of getting to the basket. And it starts with Kawhi and Paul. Are they the best at blowing by guys at this stage of their careers? No, but they still can do it more than they do and have shown this season, especially Paul George. And I thought he was doing a pretty good job turning that corner, and especially when he was able to step into those mid-ranges with a little bit of space, it just looked so pretty, as it always does. Paul George shot 6 for 12 in the game. 1 for 5 from deep, but 7 for 7 from the line. He shot more free throws than anyone on the Clipper team, and I love that. I love that he got to the line 7 times, and 6 for 12, 50%, we'll take that all day. So I thought Paul, and this is the best stat of them all, actually, better than the free throws. Only 2 turnovers, and we only had 8 turnovers as a team. So in terms of taking care of the ball, the Clippers have been better of late, and it really starts with Paul George. So in my opinion, yeah, Paul George only shot 12 shots, and we like to see him get 15 plus up, but he also played 32 minutes because Ty Lue had a whole separate second unit outside of the starting lineup, and that was Bones Highland, Norman Powell, Eric Gordon, Mason Plumlee, and Nico Batum. But overall, just to really summarize the main reason why I think the Clippers won this game, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, they set the tone. And they were both good defensively as well, especially Kawhi. Thought he was active, good help, very engaged. Looked like that extra day of rest or extra game that he took off, or they gave him off, whatever you want to call it, helped him out because he looked really, really good. But that being said, it's also, there's another part of you that goes, man, he looks so good. Could he have played against the Bucks? But all we can do is move forward, right? I just hope we don't give away any games like that anymore when it's not a back-to-back, because there are going to be back-to-backs coming up. And Kawhi Leonard, man, he's playing at a very high level right now. We want to keep him playing at a high level, but also have him play consistently so everybody can get used to playing with him and we can build a little bit of rhythm. I mean, yes, we've won 9 out of the last 11 games of Paul George and Kawhi, but I want more. I want more. The Clippers are only 4 games over 500, but they will take this win. And coming up, you must be thinking, what about the new guys? What about the new guys? Well, going to be talking about all 3 of them and more coming up. On Wednesday, I am going to Prize Picks to make a couple of entries. This is how it works. You just pick 2 to 6 players, and predict if they will score more or less than their Prize Picks projections. It's not versus anyone. It is you versus the app. On Wednesday, I'm going with Nikola Vucevic, the over on his points, Tyrese Halliburton's over on the points, and Keldon Johnson's over on the points. Reason why I'm doing that is because Charlotte is a piss-poor defensive team, and Keldon Johnson's played really well lately in terms of scoring the basketball, so I got him going for over 24 points. Tyrese Halliburton against the Bulls, it's a big game for seeding. I just see him scoring more than 20 points, especially now that we're nearing the All-Star break, and he's going to be there. I think he wants to end on a good note. And Nikola Vucevic, maybe my most risky pick, over 21 points for the Bulls against the Pacers. And it's because he's been playing well lately. So hopefully he has a good game and is able to stay on the court by not being too detrimental defensively. And Prize Picks offers projections and not just basketball, any sport. NFL, MLB, I mean, the NFL season just ended, but MLB will be starting up in a couple months. Soccer, anything. College basketball, March Madness is coming up. It's safe and fast withdrawals. Download the PrizePicks app or go to prizepicks.com to sign up and play daily fantasy sports. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. If you deposit $100, PrizePicks will give you $100. If you deposit $50, PrizePicks will give you $50. Don't forget to enter the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for an instant deposit matchup to $100. All right, let's talk about the good stuff, what we've been waiting for, the new guys. Who should I start with? Let's go with the one that came in first, the guy that came in first, and that was Mason Plumlee. And I thought you got everything you expected from Mason Plumlee in this game. Moments of good verticality, good rebounding, finishing around the basket, just another big body with a high basketball IQ, the ability to pass the ball. You saw a little bit of the ball handling as well. Overall, it's just amazing to finally have a backup big and a good one. 17 minutes for Mason, 2 shots, 2 makes, 4 free throws, 4 makes. He didn't miss a shot in the game. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. 2 of those were offensive rebounds. He also got a steal, only turned the ball over 1 time, and it was on a travel. He was +6. It doesn't get much better for a debut and what you want Mason Plumlee to do than that. Just overall, really solid. And what was interesting was Ty Lue, as I mentioned in the first segment, he did not stagger Kawhi and Paul George. He went with a straight bench unit that, in my opinion, could be the worst starting 5 in the league. But that tells you how good it is, if they can even be a starting 5. Bones Hyland, Norman Powell. I mean, if that was a backcourt that was starting, I think that could get you... If Norman Powell was the best scorer on his team, he's averaging 24 points a game. I don't know how efficient he'd be, but he would average 24 points a game, in my opinion. Bones Hyland, like 15. If he was a starter like that and just had the ultimate green light, as I said, the team wouldn't be very good, but it just shows, Nico, Mason Plumlee has just been a starter. We think Nico Batum should be starting. And then Eric Gordon, he was just starting in Houston. So it's just insane, the depth we have and the quality. I think we upgraded in terms of consolidating. Even though we brought in 3 players and let go of 3 players, just more quality. What we needed was fulfilled. And it's funny because Lawrence Frank was walking by me at the end of the game and I said, great stuff. And he winked. It was funny. But I also want to say best of luck to Reggie Jackson in Denver. But Bones Hyland was the next one to come off the bench. And I think he honestly got me the most excited. I don't think he's going to play the most in the playoffs. In fact, I think of the 3, he will definitely play the least in the playoffs. But just the upside of this kid. I mean, not only was he playing defense. Now, let me just say this. I sound like a broken record, but I had a really good seat in this game. And when you're that close, you can kind of see the force that's being put on these pushes, the hand checks, like the contact. You can really see how much force it is when these guys are making contact. And Bones Hyland was just treated and refereed differently than the other players tonight on both teams. It was insane. Draymond Green got away with multiple hand checks. Norman Powell, Paul George, these guys got away with some stuff. But anytime Bones Hyland bumped a guy or breathed on a guy, he got a foul. It was insane. But let's talk about the good stuff. I thought his first possession as a Clipper was turning the corner on a pick and roll and feeding Mason Plumlee for a layup. This guy had so much juice off the bounce, and being that close, you can really see, like, even driving with his left hand with a guy on his hip, he had the ball on a string. I was very impressed with his talent, his downhill ability. Much quicker than Reggie Jackson. He's going to be better turning that corner. He hit a 3, got to the basket a couple of times. He was 2 for 6 in the game and 1 for 3 from deep and weirdly missed 2 free throws, even though I think he's shooting 86% from the line this season. Yeah, he's shooting 86% from the line this season. It's weird that he missed 2 free throws. Maybe a little bit of nerves. But overall, I really liked what I saw from him. And really solid passes, quick drive, attracting two defenders, not holding onto the ball too long. And again, a new situation, new environment can bring the best out of a guy. Bones Highland really, really impressed me. I think obviously his defense won't be as good as and active as the first game. He's a Clipper. He got a steal. And I think he had a season high in fouls with 5. But as I said, a lot of them were called unfairly. But he played 16 minutes, had 6 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal, didn't turn the ball over, was +2, and I already said is 2 for 6 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. A weird 1 for 3 from the line, but I loved what I saw. Downhill creation, some solid passes. I'm excited. And then EJ, back in the Clipper uniform wearing that classic number 10. And he was the one that Ty Lue went with closing alongside Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, and Ivica Zubac. I thought it should have been Terrence Mann. I truly do not know what it's going to take for Terrence Mann to close a game or to get significant fourth quarter minutes. But I'm going to be talking about that a little more in the last segment because it's something about Ty Lue I just keep understanding or keep getting reconfirmation. But Eric Gordon, I thought he wasn't great shooting the ball. He was 2 for 7, but so many good things from Eric Gordon in this game in terms of what Luke Kennard couldn't do. He did not get bullied. He had 2 strips where he forced turnovers. Let's see if they got registered. Yeah, 2 blocks. Luke Kennard's not getting blocks. And we can actually play a 3-guard lineup with Gordon and Powell because they're big guards. And Norman Powell's defense, I have to say, is really, really turned up the last couple of months. There was one play today where he had a beautiful steal, just active hands, not even looking at the ball, just following his man and staying attached, and was able to get his hand on a pass. Norman Powell, Eric Gordon, those guys, I think we actually may be able to run a 3-guard set, especially because we have Mason Plumlee as backline protection now. It totally changes everything. And I feel like Ty Lue wants to have a 3-guard sort of lineup with shooting and that kind of scoring burst. But with Eric Gordon, now he can get away with it because he's bigger and won't get overpowered the way Luke Kennard did. And also, he got to the basket a couple of times. And Eric Gordon, multiple times in this game, attracted 2 defenders and made a really solid pass. The ball movement was fantastic tonight. And that's because of Terrence Mann, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Norman Powell, Eric Gordon, Bones Highland. All these guys, rim pressure, attack the basket. That's what it's going to take for this. All the Clippers do is play iso ball. They don't move the ball. Once they just get 2 feet in the paint or attract 2 defenders, however that may be, they will get the ball moving, and the offense will look like tonight. 33 assists for the Clippers on 49 made field goals. They shot 53% from the field, 47% from 3, and I'm telling you, it wasn't crazy because the looks were good. And a guy that I didn't really mention enough because I talked about the starters, talking about the new guys, Kawhi was our player of the game for me, but Norman Powell. How much more can we say about this guy? The game was still in question going into the fourth quarter. The Clippers were up by 12, but Norman Powell did a good job of just pushing the lead and letting the Clippers get more comfortable. And there's been a couple games we've seen this where he starts the fourth quarter and just starts scoring and then sometimes gets freezed out. This game, he was getting open shots even after Kawhi and Paul came back in the game. But he was doing his normal Norman Powell thing. Getting to the basket, turning the corner on that curl play, going to his right, attacking closeouts, making open shots, hit a couple of nice floaters off the glass. He was absolutely tremendous in this game. 24 points to match his number, 10 for 17 from the field, 3 for 5 from deep in 25 minutes. He was awesome. Clippers win it 134-124. Coming up, going to be talking about the game a little bit more specifically, kind of the structure of it, and what I can just keep finding out about Ty Lue, or what we really know and it becomes reconfirmed about Ty Lue, and where I am on the whole Russ thing after seeing the supporting cast, or should I say the new players and our new supporting cast play a game. I'm going to be talking about that coming up. You know what I really missed to start off my day? A delicious treat known as Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. And if you're like me and you want to get healthier and eat healthier, don't compromise taste. We've got just what you need. It's Built Bar. And Built Bar, it really does taste good. I'm actually being serious when I say I miss them. I love having them like right before a workout or right after a workout, honestly. Need that protein, need those gains. What makes Built Bar so good though? Well, for starters, they're all covered in 100% real chocolate, so it kind of feels more like a candy bar that you're eating than like these protein bars and granola bars or whatever. And they come in awesome flavors. My favorite is the raspberry one, but churro, peanut butter brownie, coconut almond. I haven't tried the churro. I really want some. I'm not sure how Built does it, but these bars taste like a candy bar while also maintaining amazing macros. And what's even better is that they're healthy. Only 130 calories and 4 grams of sugar with a whopping 17 grams of protein. And now you don't need to wait around and get a box. For years, we've been saying order them at Built.com. But now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. I have never seen a Sam's Club in my life, but hopefully in your state they have some so you can get some Built Bars, a 13-bar box from your Sam's Club with brownie batter and churro. You can thank me later. All right, so let's talk about the structure of this game. First quarter, the Clippers win it 31-23, and as I said, it starts with me, with putting Jordan Poole in the pick and roll a lot. He was just showing and recovering, but the Clippers were getting really good stuff out of that because Terrence Mann then gets the ball in 4-on-3 situations. And Terrence, the fact that he wasn't ending the game is crazy to me. 16 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 0 turnovers. And if you watch the vlog that I'm going to post on my channel, that'll be up on Wednesday, going into halftime, Terrence Mann slammed a Gatorade bottle down as he went through the tunnel. He was pissed. I don't know why. We were down 6. Or I think it was down 4. Yeah, 65-61. We were down 4. But there was something I guess he was just annoyed. And that just shows his competitive fire, how much he cares. That's why I love Terrence Mann so much. He really cares, and he brings it every single night. Tonight was no different. Tuesday night was no different. But Ty Lue, I keep struggling to word how to describe it. But the point is, Ty Lue is offense first, and it keeps becoming clear the more games that go on. For Terrence Mann to play as well as he did, and me to read the stats I just read to you, and he's not closing the game, but Eric Gordon is, and it's his first game with the team, just shows you how much he looks at the offensive side of things. The fact that Robert Covington is the odd man out, Bones Highland, none of these guards, Reggie Jackson, John Wall, none of these guys were ever that guy. It's always been Robert Covington after game 5 or 6 of the season. So Ty Lue is an offense first guy. Whether I like it or not doesn't matter. I don't like that. But if it means that we win the championship, I don't care if he's offense first. He ain't Mike D'Antoni, let's put it that way. But let's read the stat lines. Clippers win it 134-124. The second quarter was all Warriors, and in my opinion, I shouldn't say all Warriors, but 42-30. And it's because the Clippers struggled to play defense without fouling. And as far as the second unit goes, they're going to take time. That's a brand new unit. 3 new guys. Mason Plumlee, Bones Highland, and Eric Gordon playing alongside Norman Powell and Nico Batum. They haven't played with each other this season, so it's going to take a little bit of time in that second unit. And also Marcus Morris. I haven't mentioned him yet, but one thing I really liked was that Ty Lue only played him 23 minutes. He got less minutes than Norm, still got more minutes than Eric Gordon, still got more minutes than Bones Highland. Nico Batum only played 8 minutes, first came back from the injuries sustained against Dallas. Terrence Mann at least got more minutes than Mook, though, and Zoo did. So Morris had 23 minutes. He had the best plus-minus in the game, which is hilarious because, in my opinion, he was probably the least relevant player that made good plays in the entire game for the Clips. He had 6 points on 2 for 7 shooting, but 2 for 4 from deep, and he hit one that was pretty timely. But I like that he didn't get as many minutes because straight up, his legs tire as the game goes on, and he doesn't offer that much. And on defense, he was not good tonight at all. There were a couple times where Zoo had to completely overcompensate for him, and that's why the Warriors, part of the reason why they had such a good second quarter, they got so many offensive rebounds. I kept saying no rebounds, no rings, which is a famous line from Pat Riley, and the Clippers weren't getting rebounds. Warriors were getting a lot of second chance opportunities and hitting threes, and they were getting hot. Some of it was just tough shot making. I thought DiVincenzo was really good. Jordan Poole was really good offensively, even though he was getting abused defensively. And then Draymond Green even hit a 3 in the second quarter. And Klay Thompson had a good shooting night. So They were hitting in that second, but in the third, the Clippers offense just went off. And it started with Kawhi Leonard hitting 2 threes to begin the quarter. I mean, that guy was just phenomenal in this game. Did not really miss. 33 points. He led the way. He was an insane 12 for 17 from the field, 7 for 9 from deep. He only got to the line for 2 shots, made them both, but he did get to the basket more and got to the paint more and attracted more help than we've seen in some other games, and that's part of why the Clippers had 33 assists as a team. Kawhi was amazing, my player of the game in 34 minutes. His defense was also good. Got a steal and a block. 12 for 17 is just amazing considering the shots that he takes. Paul George, 20 points, 8 assists. And only 2 turnovers. 4-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. We'll take that. Shot 50% from the field, 6 for 12, 1 for 5 from deep, and didn't overdo it with the threes, in my opinion. I love that he got to the line 7 times and made all 7 of them. And when the Clippers made their, the biggest portion of that run in that third quarter, it was when Draymond, Clay, and Jordan Poole were all on the bench together. So interesting substitution patterns from Kerr. But we'll take it. 44 points scored in the third quarter by the Clippers. It was Norman Powell and Kawhi Leonard really leading the way. Ivica Zubac, solid night at the office for him. Thought he could have done a better job on the glass, but he had some solid moments in the game on both ends of the floor. Finished with some nice jump hooks around the rim. 10 points, and I like when we fed him. He had 9 shot attempts tonight, which I like. Made 5 of them. We'll take Zoo in double figures. Absolutely will. Already talked about Terrence and Senior. Terrence finished with 16, 5, and 6 on 7 for 10 shooting and 2 for 3 from deep in 27 minutes. Norman Powell, 24 points on 10 for 17 shooting and 3 for 5 from deep. And I already talked about Plumlee, Highland, and Eric Gordon. Don't know if I read Eric Gordon's stat line. 7 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, no turnovers, 2 for 7 from the field, and 1 for 3 from deep. We'll take that all day. And one thing I just really enjoyed about the Clippers was the process. It looked good. Ball movement, attacking the basket, more guys now that have juice off the dribble. The defense will come. A lot of that's going to come with chemistry. One thing to look for, though, is Ty Lue going to stick with this 10-man rotation for the rest of this regular season when everyone's healthy? It sucks for Robert Covington. It truly does. And as for the Russell Westbrook thing to close out, we don't need another player, point blank. Point guard by committee. That's going to be our goal. Our objective and our task is to be point guard by committee and get good shots for 4 quarters. And we'll see if we can win the championship. We have a lot more added insurance defensively now with Plumlee. But hey, I'm excited for that next game against Phoenix. No Kevin Durant, but Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton will be playing. They just beat the Sacramento Kings, which is honestly not a terrible thing for the Clippers because we want the Kings to start losing as well. They beat the Sacramento Kings on Tuesday night in Phoenix by 11. So the Clippers will have a very tough game on their hands. They're 0-2 against the Suns this season. Torrey Craig and Josh Okogie will be guarding Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, starting alongside their big 3. DeAndre Ayton had 29 points, 11 boards in the Sacramento game. Chris Paul, 17 points and 19 assists. Oh my God. And Devin Booker, 32 points on 65% shooting. So it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one on Thursday. I believe that game will be on TNT. So make sure to tune in. But overall, good win for the Clippers. Great performance by Kawhi. Good performance from Paul George. Amazing from Norman Powell. And the new additions absolutely make this team better. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DimeDropperPod. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Dime Dropper, if you want to see the footage I took from the game and more Clipper content, of course, and NBA content. And thanks for making Locked On Clippers your first listen today. Now make your second listen game to game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Really had fun at the game on Tuesday night. Really proud of this team. I'm excited about what's to come. 32-28, not the best record through 60 games. We got 22 games to get this going. My target was 52-30 after my initial target of 60 wins that was cooked after week 4, if that, really by game 5. So to get 52 wins, the Clippers have to go 20-2. Not happening, is it? The age-old proverb continues. Go Clippers.